time with Almeida. It's coffee time with Almeida.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to Coffee Time with Almeida. Today we have Jason Kindness on with us from, he's living in Newport, Rhode Island. He has a restaurant called Kai Bar. It's a bar, and he has a pizza shop called Slice & Co. in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. And he's gone from bartender to pandemic pizza man. We're going to talk all about the hospitality industry and cocktails and whatnot. Jason Kindness, welcome to Coffee Time with Almeida.
Thanks, man. Great to be here. Best day ever.
Oh, dude, I love that cup. Thank you. That's awesome. What do you have in that cup, my friend?
Mad Dog.
You know, I mean, I think we all kind of need a little bit of that.
No, I got straight Keurig coffee. It's a little bit different than my normal Nitro, but tough times call for, difficult measures.
Yeah, Oh, let's see. All right, everybody's drinking.
Yeah. Bunch of comedians in this house.
I love it. This is why we came here. This is why we're here. So I just want to ask you a question. First out of the gate. Do you remember when we met? Do you remember the first time we met?
Was it at the Eddie? No.
Chinese New Year's party.
Oh, that's
in Newport.
Right. Holy smokes.
Newport.
How much fun was that?
There was a USBG party.
That's right.
That was some fun times.
Yeah, man. It was, I think it was also like a launch party for the GQ magazine release with the guy from Back Bar from Boston.
Troy Clark. Was
Troy
there?
No. He was there. Sam Treadway. Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron. Sam Treadway. That's right. So it was the first time actually I had just joined the USBG, like not too much before that, I don't think. And so it was the first time, definitely, I met you and all those other guys, and then, the rest is history. Now we're all nerds hanging out.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a wild night.
I believe it was like 7 years ago. That's pretty good.
Wow. Yeah.
So things have changed a lot since then. You're living in Newport right now.
Yeah, things have changed. I'm actually from Newport. I've been all over. I actually spent about 10 years, all my 20s, living in Florida. And then I made my way back here about 11 or 12 years ago. Kind of lived all over the state, and I ended up back here in Newport not too long ago, and feels good to be home.
And so you have two spots in East Greenwich, Rhode Island.
I do. We opened up Kai Bar about 3.5 years ago now. It's been a wild ride. Obviously, as you knew me as a bartender for many years, it's funny how things happen. I never saw myself owning a restaurant, but it just kind of unfolded that way. And then, the pizza spot became available across the street. And so bought that, and now I have two restaurants right across the street from each other. So it's pretty
convenient. It's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, it's really wild. I just kind of go back and forth all night, which just feeds right into my ADD. It's always changing.
It's good. It's like, oh, somebody needs something. I'll be right over. Literally 2 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just want to give a shout out to Jason Trenholm and Rodney. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Let's see. Tell us about what you're doing right now.
Well, unfortunately, like a lot of other people, we had to close down the restaurant temporarily, at Kai Bar. So luckily, the state has allowed for the takeout situation to keep going. So I was able to kind of shift, a lot of my focus over to the pizza shop. And with things going on and the sales going down and whatnot, labor is an issue. So I got a pretty cool staff who's making a decent amount of money on unemployment. So we got them out of there, and now myself and my wife work pretty much all the shifts together.
Are you guys open 7 days a week?
We're open 6 days a week, so I'm probably going to stretch that out. The plan was to open it for 7 days a week come springtime, So I think now is better than ever because people need pizza every night, so.
Oh, hell yeah. So you have like a lot of regulars in your, I mean, you're right. And tell us a little bit about East Greenwich, the neighborhood
Yeah,
over there.
East Greenwich, really neat town. And, it's crazy because being from Newport, I had never actually been to East Greenwich until I went to go check out, what would eventually become the Kai Bar space. Really neat downtown area. There is a main street. There's a bunch of, I think initially from what I understood, it was very a boutique-y shopping. There's like, 4 wedding shops, and there's hairstylist shops, and then I think a couple of restaurants started popping up in the last 5 years. And so we were kind of in there on the ground floor. And I think it was a really kind of right time, right place for something like Kai Bar to open up, because it's a very unique vibe and concept. And, it took a while, but people have really, reacted very well to it. So since then, a couple other bars have opened up. And I think a lot of the East Greenwich people have tended to go to Newport or Providence or whatever. And so I think they're all really pleased to have a couple of decent quality spots right in East Greenwich. So we've done great. I'm very grateful for the East Greenwich community. Everyone there is awesome. They've really embraced us. So I feel very lucky to be a part of it.
That's really cool. I feel like, that type of environment you're probably in, it's every person you touch. So and it's contagious, right? So it's like one person at a time, and it just like starts to build and all of a sudden, people are like, all right, this is, they know that they can like chill in town and they don't have to go to the city.
Yeah, totally. Totally. And, we take a really interesting approach to what we do. It's crazy, Chris, because I think prior to opening Kai Bar, the craziness of my cocktail programs kept on like going up and up and up. I was working at the Revolving Door for a while, which we can talk about for a minute, where I was being pushed by all these different chefs to use these crazy ingredients I've never used before. And then when I got to Kai Bar, I think a lot of this stuff was, well, how can I say? I mean, I think we really simplified things and created a really neat, fresh cocktail list that was approachable. And then we always offer a couple of drinks on the menu for the adventurous people. But I think it's been a really neat fit for East Greenwich. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're breaking the people into the cocktail scene, right?
Absolutely.
And you got to like start them somewhere. You can't just like jump, into the deep end.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of works out because the place is very high volume. So we've got to be able to execute drinks, on the fly. Most of our drinks can be executed in under a minute. The place gets packed. We're 3 deep. And of course, everyone wants a craft cocktail, which accounts for about 70% of our beverage orders are off of our cocktail list, which is just bananas. And then the rest are all Tito's and sodas.
So yeah, you're making probably like on a Friday, Saturday night, like 300-400 drinks, you think?
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah. Yep, easily.
That's that's fun.
It is fun, and it was crazy. When we opened up the place, it was one of those things where I worked every bar shift. I think there was something like I worked 91 out of the first 94 days. And then, when you open up your own place, you're so protective of your brand and whatnot. You just don't want to throw anybody behind the bar. I was lucky enough to have a buddy of mine, Alex Brendaris from Newport, kind of hop in there with me and really kind of help me establish the culture. And I really kind of think that that's what's made us popular is the culture, the ethos, the feel that people get when they're in there. Because the drinks and whatnot, they're fresh, and the beers are awesome. We actually put a lot of thought into our beer program as well. But I think people come back for the hospitality. I honestly think it's like the most overlooked thing in our business. And it's crazy because we stamped it right on the business. So like, this is the hospitality business, but everyone just skips right over that. And I think that that's really kind of what breeds the culture and the vibe that keeps people coming back for sure.
Oh yeah. So what's your favorite thing about the hospitality industry and the business in general?
I think that hands down, it's the relationships you build with people. Not only the the guests that come in all the time, but the staff. We have a very tight knit staff. My entire staff has been there for 2 years.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
It's really neat. There's only 5 of us. We've really kind of grown together. I empower everybody. I'm very hands off when it comes to the creativity there. I had a mentor that kind of treated me the same way, and I really kind of blossomed. So I do the same thing with these guys. I always tell them, when they get behind the bar, that they're the captain of that ship. To rock and roll, bring in their own ingredients, create their own specials. Have been very supportive of them, and it's really kind of neat too. We travel a little bit together. We experience new things together. Instead of a Christmas party a couple of years ago, I spent all the money on just like a really dope Airbnb in downtown Portland, Maine. We spent a couple of days just going out, eating great food, drinking, being a part of really good service.
Mhm.
And it gets everybody so pumped to get back in there and be like, oh, wow, look at how they roll their silverware. Look at, how they, but I mean, it's simple stuff like that. And the staff gets so enthusiastic and I go back to working for the Newport Restaurant Group. They hooked us up with, a book by Danny Meyer, Setting the Table. Really neat book. I highly recommend it to people. But the thing that stuck with me the most is, show hospitality to your staff, and then they'll pass it on to, your guests. And it's definitely, I've found that to be, very true, in my experiences.
So what do you think the future of hospitality is?
Oh man.
Once we get back to it.
It's crazy because being a restaurant owner now, I definitely think about things a little bit different. So I think first and foremost in my mind, I'm thinking about what's the business going to be like going forward. And I think it's going to be, I try to stay positive. I think there's going to be a long road ahead of us. Because I think even when everything opens up, you're going to have that percentage of the community that's going to not feel safe with it, and that might account for 20% or something like that, which is going to be a big hit. So I think it'll be a while before people feel comfortable going out to places, especially like Kai Bar, where we just pack them in and everyone's on top of each other. But I mean, I think it's going to take a little bit, but I also think that culturally, outside of the hospitality business, everything's going to change, whether or not you shake someone's hand or you give them a hug, or, it's funny because you always saw those people like walking around with sanitizer and you're just like, fucks up with this guy. Like, and now it's like,
what do you have, stock in Purell?
Yeah, exactly. So, now you've got that guy somewhere being like, told you.
Yeah, you're like, now I should have bought stock in Purell. Jesus.
Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, I think everything's going to be different. I think that the hospitality industry will eventually come back strong, but it's going to take a little while. So I'd imagine we come back with kind of a smaller staff initially. I think you're going to see a lot of owners rolling up their sleeves and getting behind bars. I think you're already seeing it. As far as the takeout places, you've got owners behind there kind of starting from scratch and kind of building things up. And it's gonna be, I think everyone's gonna feel the hit, really, from the staff all the way up. But this is such a relationship driven business. And people really kind of, yearn for that and being a part of culture and getting back out there with their people. We'll come back. It'll be a challenge though, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we have no choice but to come back, right? So
absolutely,
it's going to happen. People love going out, and like you said, it's definitely going to be. I feel like the last week that I worked, that the restaurant was open, was very stressful. You're like, we're already hyper focused on being clean, right? And now you're even like every single time you put your finger on something, you're like, ugh. And that whole last week I was like having a meltdown. But I feel like we have no choice to get back to it, because it's what we do. It's people need it.
Yeah, it's and I think people are definitely being mindful. having a pizza shop still open, I'm in the grocery store or Restaurant Depot like 3 times a week, and progressively it's turned into something where everyone's, you've gone from one, kooky person wearing a mask and gloves to like you're being looked at funny if you're not. You know what I mean?
So you were at Restaurant Depot yesterday, right? How was that?
I was at Restaurant Depot yesterday. Restaurant Depot, for all of you guys that haven't been there, it's interesting. I'd equate it to what I would imagine like a modern day cultural epicenter for people to come and gather their ingredients and whatnot. And it's a really it's kind of a neat place. So yeah, it's definitely it's slower. Yesterday in particular, the shelves were oddly sparse. And I went up to one of the guys. I was like, "Is there something that I don't know about that's coming down here?" And he was just like, "I don't know. I think it's just busy." I think a lot of people are going in there and buying stuff for them personally as well.
I think I read somewhere in a few states that Restaurant Depot is open to the public now.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. I might be Rhode Island. I have a feeling. I feel like I saw someone from Providence share like a post, but
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah. So I mean, cool, but not cool. I guess it's good for the people, but like, because even like I'm a Stop and Shop guy. I go to Stop and Shop like sometimes twice a day. And like now I went to Stop and Shop the other day, and I was like, oh my God, I was having like it's just really stressful, right? So there's everybody's in there, and now I'm limiting my shops to once a week, but there's a bunch of stuff that I couldn't get flour the last 2 times I was there.
You know what? I noticed that a while ago because I couldn't get semolina for the pizza shop, which is something we put on the pizza peel that kind of helps the pizza slide off the peel. And so I did some Googling and like, okay, well, you can use flour. And I went to buy flour, and it was like, what are people doing with flour?
Flour and like I was trying to get like a gallon of vinegar the other day, like none, zero. I'm like,
so weird.
So strange. I'm like, are there really all these new bakers out there? I know I'm new to baking, but like how many of us are there really? It's insanity. Like, I guess everybody does have time on their hands.
Yeah.
So who's your favorite Ozark character?
Oh, Marty, for sure.
Right.
He's so cool, and his little like one-liners are just hilarious. God damn, that show is so good, huh?
Yeah.
It's just so wild. It's one of those shows, kind of like The Wire was, where they don't really explain everything to you. You've got to kind of read between the lines, and the character development is so cool. All the characters are really neat. Jonah, like, what's up with that kid? He's gonna play a big role at some point.
Yeah. I can't believe he didn't pull the trigger. So season 4, he'll be pulling some triggers.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
who's your favorite character?
Oh, I would think probably Marty. He's just very calculated.
He is.
He puts a lot of thought into everything. Even like he's pretty much right every single time.
Yeah, he is.
And I just like Jason Bateman. He's a great actor in general.
Yeah, Bateman's great. Yeah, I love Bateman. I mean, Arrested Development, was just the shit. You know what I mean? I loved that show so much.
Yeah, he's just just funny. Like, it's easily funny. Yeah. All right. So, any good cocktail ideas for something you might have in your house that's easy to make?
Yeah, you know what? One thing I always tell people about to make it easy is to find like a good quality mixer. And mine is, I don't know if we have it around, but like Polar. Yeah, Polar makes a grapefruit soda. Mm-hmm. That's so phenomenal. And you could literally mix it with anything. So we've been drinking a lot of tequila and Polar. We use it in the restaurant for our palomas as well. So it kind of like gives you that flavor profile where you're drinking a soda that's got a little bit of a fresh kick to it as well. So I recommend people going out and getting the Polar Grapefruit Dry. It's really, really, cool stuff. So, and it's funny, like when you have your home bar, like we're getting down to a point where I'm like considering taking shots of like Ancho Reyes and shit like that because it just dwindles down, and it's like all we drink pretty much is tequila, And of course, we've got like this array of stuff, samples we've gotten over the years. But there's just never any tequila though, because it's we drink it all. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. We just been kind of running the gamut on whatever I have in the basement from however I got it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I do have pardon me.
Samples that were half drinking when I got them 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, why do I have all this overproof rum? But I actually do have a bottle of Chartreuse VEP green.
Oh wow!
Which I might break that open tonight.
Wow!
I've been just kind of staring at it for a couple of years. It's been on my bookshelf over here. Never.
Let me ask you a question. As a you're a pretty educated guy when it comes to this stuff. Someone told me that Chartreuse is like one of the few things that actually evolves in the glass bottle and changes a little bit. You ever heard that before?
No, I haven't. I have not heard that before. I'm gonna look it up. Maybe we'll ask Tim Master what he thinks about that.
Yeah, totally. That'd be cool.
Because that'd be really interesting. Because I know they're like people do have like really old bottles of Chartreuse that are like collector's items and go for big bucks. So hey, Jason, well, I want to thank you so much for coming on today. It was awesome.
A lot of fun, man.
Great to see you. Great to see you, and hopefully you have a great weekend at the shop. The sun looks like it's coming out today, so.
That's awesome, man.
And we have a couple links up there. I know we didn't talk about it, but Jason listens to the Questlove Supreme podcast. He likes that one. He also loves Run the Jewels, right?
Love Run the Jewels. and let me say something. When you hop on that Questlove Supreme, jump right to the Huey Lewis episode. It's so good,
Huey
man.
Lewis. All right. Yeah, Huey I'm gonna listen to that today.
Fascinating guy.
Yeah, he just lost his hearing.
I know, man.
Isn't that crazy?
So sad. He talks about that too.
So yeah, I'm gonna check that out. And anyway, so dude, I'll catch back up with you really soon. And when this is over, you, me, and Wisdom are definitely gonna hang out for sure.
Love Wisdom. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, dude. I think I don't know if Mike is back on yet. Our producer is gonna. So I think you're stuck with me for like at least another minute here.
Oh, awesome.
So I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know. Are you selling any booze out of Kai Bar?
We're not. We're such like a cocktail driven place. I didn't really see the value in going in there and having someone squeeze, juices and whatnot. Also, it's kind of a gray area as far as logistically, to bottle fresh ingredients or whatever. So we're holding off for now, but we're looking forward to getting back in there as soon as possible for sure.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, you got it, Jason. See you soon.
All
right, folks. So here we go. Next week coming up, we have funeral director Amy Silva. We have herbalist Jesse Lou Rodriguez. We have musician Graham Richards coming to us from California. And we also have Chef Lonnie Diner coming to us from New York City. I believe he's living in Brooklyn right now. And I'm going to leave you here with a clip from comic genius Joshua Bell.
Hey, man. Why the long face? It's just, I'm out of weed. It's not a big deal. I got the solution right here. Dude, that's not how that works. Fuck yeah, that's how it works, man. Instapot. Push a couple of leaves. Seriously. All right. I just didn't think it was possible. How could I? I know. Sometimes you just gotta believe. Fuck. We have no weed for the show tonight. Hello?
Coffee time with Almeida. Every weekday at 9. Won't you join me for a really fun time?